No worries. Gigi Bayless is our new rep. You may have known Sarah Miller for many years. Sarah is now my colleague. She's a media specialist too. She's covering Oklahoma and kind of the Midwest, and she's living in Houston now, but we still kind of the joys of having to commute every all the time. So our goal today is to be interactive as possible, both face-to-face and on Zoom. If questions come up, please let us know that are more can be addressed in time. Also, this is being recorded via Zoom, and also I'm going to give you a website to go to that'll have instructions, nuts and bolts instructions about how to do different things. So if you need some visual cues, you need kind of some document follow-up, we have that too. So our goal today is to let you know a little bit more about the resources that accompany both We the People and Governing Texas. Although both books, the content or the things for both books are specific, there's a commonality amongst everything. So if you know one, you know both. Now, of course, the content is going to be specific to the People Full Edition and Governing Texas. But if something there you see and like, you can always utilize it and put it in your course as well. One thing that was created that Brandon took the lead on is to create a community group within D2L already. So this is actually in Lone Star's D2L instance already called Community Group Government Department. And this will have the links and content to what I'll be showing today. There's a We the People course template and a Governing Texas course template. And there are instructions to how to go in and put it into your course as well. So again, this is available for you right now. If you want to put it in there, feel free. I'll show you what's going to be available for the resource. I'm going to show you a couple things here. This is the We the People. We call this a digital landing page, the DLP. You won't use this. You're going to use the links that exist within D2L because they're going to be integrated. We typically, as an instructor or professor, you want to kind of have students live in a world that there's a single user experience. So everything that we have links in through D2L native. Right? One thing that I always mention is that our content, once it's in D2L, becomes a native D2L link. It's not like a quasi version of another LMS that we created. We would work uniquely within D2L to make all of our links function as if they're native D2L links. So for example, you may see a wealth of resources in the D2L course, videos and inquisitive and ebook link and other things like that. If you're not going to use them, just simply go ahead and hit not visible to users, right? There's no need to delete it or kind of freak out. Just anything you have there, you're not going to use or assign, just click make unavailable to users and it just hides it. It's still there in your template, in your course, but it's not bombarding students with 50 different links. I'm of the opinion as a former instructor to make things more streamlined where it's an ease of use, what they see is what they get kind of thing, not make them navigate through 15 different things to get where they want to be. You make it hard for you. The more speed bumps you give them, the less they're going to be difficult. So I want to start off fundamentally with the resources come with all the new books. The students in the new book, they get this. They also get it individually as well. So let's say a student has a used book or they're sharing a book and you want to utilize a resource, a student can go in there and get access for $25 or they get a full ebook version, $59.95. I don't know how much the bookstore costs. I have no idea. That's their deal. But they want to get an ebook right from us. Everything they need in the course is right there for $60. One thing that you can rest assured on is that if typically you may put a page reference in your syllabus or in a direction. Well, the same pages exist both in a printed book that do in the ebook. So the correlated that page 205 in the ebook is 205 in the printed book. So anybody who can live in a different kind of world, your directions, your instructions are going to be one for one there for them. That makes your life really easy. But it's not in this chapter. And like, no, it's page 1 and 2 here, but no, it's going to be one-to-one book correlations. And there are some cool features that exist in both of our ebooks, both for We the People and for Governing Texas. I'll do this later. Of course, it's going to be right there on the page there, ready to go. A student can go in there like before and just simply drag and highlight. You see these yellow, these pink, and this blue highlight. That's for students. Students can make their own highlights, and you can too. These are going to be your highlights or student highlights. But you see also these green highlight and this mortarboard or this graduation cap. These two items allow you to highlight and make notes that you can then publish to your students. So for example, you can go in there and give them a focus area about maybe on a test or some kind of maybe like an Easter egg where they find it, and you can go to another link, but you can go in here and link out from these notes into Google Drive docs or YouTube videos. So you can essentially, the ebook becomes customizable to again make students drive themselves into the ebook to read. Right? Students don't read typically, they read differently. Here's one way of making them go into the ebook to actually kind of clean out your notes, or like, hey, if it's in the ebook, it's highlighted there. So these notes that are in the green section or green highlight and the mortarboard or the graduation cap can be published to your students right from the ebook versions.
So as far as accessibility goes, like as much as a leader,
yes.
How does that work with that?
So if it's a separate entity, right? Like if it's delivered to them by the principal officer in school, there's no communication between each of them. That's free. So they would have you could actually print your notes out to give them. Okay. So let's say a student has accessibility issues, you have the ability to go in there, find your notes, right? Because I'm an instructor, here are all my notes there, and print out those notes for the student. Okay. You give them that instruction, maybe with a link to the YouTube video right there. That functionality as well. Anybody doing it through a browser accessibility issue, it works hand in hand because that browser goes through D2L, pull the ebook up, right? And then it's displayed in a certain way for any site issues and things like that. So as long as they're using the ebook via the D2L links, it all works together. If they use an ebook by way of another app or another program through the accessibility office that's dedicated to a sight impaired student, it's not communicating to that because they're using a different app. That's a great question. There's also text to speech. It's not quite audible, not quite as elegant as audible is, but depending on the browser tab, the browser you're using, you have a whole bunch of different accents, which are actually I love. Eventually, come on, Microsoft Libby. Chapter 03. Oh, goodness. Yeah. So I say with the English accent, you just kind of feel smart if you're getting read to by the English accent. But the ability to the language, kind of the accent is all based upon the browser, like Safari, and tons of browsers in Safari, tons of languages stuff. It's a cool feature. But those who want to have it read to them outside of true accessibility, text to speech, you can do that too. As you get both ebooks available for We the People and Governing Texas. Same functionality exists for both. The next thing I want to talk about is Inquisitive. Inquisitive is our formative adaptive assessment tool. It is designed to kind of work concurrently as you're covering a chapter. So for example, if I'm in chapter 3, I would assign Inquisitive to be done as I'm covering chapter 3. Because Inquisitive isn't a quiz, like a summative quiz. It's kind of weird, the word Inquisitive, and people are like, oh, it's quizzing. It's not quizzing. It's formative adaptive assessment. So Inquisitive meaning more like being curious or inquiry based. I'm inquisitive about this. Right? The name was not here before I came around. so Inquisitive is designed to have students focus on those base learning objectives that the textbook's covering, that scaffolded aspect, the foundational scaffold that you typically will add on as you're going through your course. So it's assignable it goes right into your gradebook automatically. So when a student does an activity, if you want to assign it in D2L, when they do it, it goes right to your gradebook without you having to do anything.
I have a question. So I use Inquisitive, and I have probably out of all my students, normally like 3, their grades won't sync to my grade book. And I have told them to go in through Inquisitive or through D2L and use the link in D2L. Is there something else that I'm missing as far as their instruction on why theirs isn't linking?
It's because to make the grades sync over, for sure, they must use the link in D2L. It's just the repetition. Right? As a core instructor, it's a powerful motivation. The first time it doesn't sync over, give them a 0. Because again, a 0 in chapter 1 of Inquisitive, one chapter of Inquisitive, is low stakes. Maybe the most of Inquisitive you want to make it worth is about 15% overall grade. Top 15, 10-15% overall. Enough to make a difference in the skill of things. But because Inquisitive is constantly, they can constantly do Inquisitive to get 100%. Nothing stopping them from 100% all this except a due date comes and goes, or I'm cool with 85. I'm gonna go party with my buddies this weekend. I like 85, I'm good. So giving them a 0 on one chapter will definitely drive behavior. I've seen that even the most instructors, because again, you hate to do that to kids or students in general. But if you're driving behavior, that's a very motivating factor. Yeah, definitely. But there's nothing you can do because essentially it's a student issue. It's them just clicking the link in D2L and not Googling with the people for Inquisitive people. Just as a review, Inquisitive. You see a couple things here that's kind of really designed to help students understand what they don't know. One of the powerful aspects of Inquisitive is that people say, well, how do I use this? How do I put stuff out to students, right? With Inquisitive, it allows you and allows them to understand what to study. It identifies where they're weakest, where they're strongest, and gleans out the fact that, hey, you need to study this, this, and this for the test, as opposed to just reviewing the entire thing. Which some of the students will start reading the book and hoping it all comes to them the night before, like, oh, please, go wash up intelligence. This is the way, I saw a tweet one time years ago. It was like shocking and packed, but it made sense. It said that the real value of education technology is to help students fail faster. I was like, what, fail faster? That's crazy. But it meant not failing the course, just know what they don't know. In small chunks where it can be easily then remediated immediately to go forward, right? Small feedback loops. So this is a way of them to say, hey, I have no idea what's going on here. I need help, or I can study X, Y, and Z. One of the things here in Inquisitive is the confidence slider. I think I know it. I'm pretty sure I know it. Conversely, I might know it. I have no idea. My students can kind of wager how much they think they know. There's up with a link to the ebook chapter here. Again, the concept students don't read. The studies show that students read like modularly, like a quest-based reading. You give them a question or a problem, they'll read to that problem, stop reading, and then kind of go on like word of work graph, solve a quest, move on, kind of thing. So here it goes right to the behead. They have to read, understand what these concepts are. It doesn't just say, here's the answer. And then I'll go in here and get this right. That's a qualified degree. Oh my goodness, no pressure. Every question and every answer in Inquisitive has either reinforcing feedback, yes, it's right, here's why it's right, or no, it's wrong, here's why it's wrong, try again. All right, so I got that right so far. International government, roads. Ooh, bummer. Got it wrong, here's why it's wrong. I'll try again. There we go. So I got weighted 100, got 50. I like the odds so far. Next question. You'll see with the Inquisitive, you'll see a lot of the same images and graphics from the textbook over into Inquisitive too. So there's a correlation between what's happening in the text and what's happening in the ebook as well, or the in Inquisitive as well. I love these questions because they're critical thinking, what it is, what it's not. Bummer. I'll read next time. Again, everything has reinforcing feedback or no, it's wrong, try again, go. And I said, I wish a lot of points is, you're really confident but you don't know. You probably lower your point weight, your confidence slider to stop losing much points. So let's try that. Again, more there. I'm gonna say I have no idea. How many Americans about older? I can vote for them. So let's say my percentage. I'd say 30%. Hey, there you go. Nice job. Cool. So that's there. Everything is again with Inquisitive broken down by chapter. You have resources, you have how to use Inquisitive activity. And again, if you choose to, these can make these go right into your grade book automatically. Once these in your they're kind of ready to set up, they're one and done. So there's no need, there's not a real effort for you to kind of go in there and set things up and make these questions. It's all kind of based upon the textbook LOs that can go from there. The reports feature, again, with the grades going in there, you have some back-end data, which is helpful because, oftentimes a student comes to you and says, I need help. Okay with what? I think everything. I don't know what I'm doing, kind of thing. There's a way with Inquisitive with the back-end metrics to see how a student's doing. So let's check out Amanda here, see what she's up to. Here's her score. You get some details of when the last time she did things, how long she spent on tasks, a whole 8 minutes so far. Again, that's just kind of demo data. But the student says, I was on this all night long. Like, okay, it's like 10 minutes. Like, yeah, I guess, Bachelorette came on, or, Survivor, but it gives them and you an at-a-glance view of where they're weakest, right? This is all happening real time. This is happening before any of your major assessments are given, so that if a student's doing poorly, you can help him or her out before that test comes and before that cake is baked, that D becomes a D or that C becomes a C, whatever it may be. Here's a way of doing that. And then all the red dots are exactly what they got wrong, and then go in and see what they're getting. And then talk about it one by one. Same thing happening on the class level. This is a view of this section. You see this green line here is the mean, right? These purple dots, that is everyone using Inquisitive nationally for this product. Every student generally finds the concepts on the mean right there. That's where they get the answer from. These blue dots is this class, this section. You see here some dots here above the mean, and that's your trouble spot right there for your tests, right there. They don't have no clue what this is about. Everybody's getting it wrong. You say, what's up with that? Click on it. So basically, they don't understand how to do the differential block rates. That concept is escaping them. Same thing here with evolution and here. State government policy. So if you know that your test has a good portion of that concept on the test, you enter trouble. Well, if students are not getting it wrong, you can go and remediate that right there. Also, you're seeing the weekly news quizzes. This is more of the student going to grade here 1 to 100, so their true grade is to be reflected. Weekly news quizzes are there as well. You have a weekly news quiz, 1 per week in federal, and 1 every other week in Texas government. And they're updated weekly. I'll be coming with the new version coming up soon. They kind of the same links exist for each semester, but it kind of refreshes each semester with the new data coming through. Here's about CNBC, a variety of sources, ABC, CNBC, ABC News, everything, even Fox in there sometimes too. Yep. This is June 13th. This is recent. Here we go, today's quiz. So you read the article right there, and then continue through a assessment. Again, go right to the grade book if you want. I'll get it ready. There we go. Oof, I'm doing this at all. Just skip. But you get the idea that it's just keeping them engaged in current events and at the same time, not doing it for busy work. It's they're actually putting a grade in your grade book if you want to. You have simulations, which are always cool. Walk the students through different scenarios, what they do. There's one per chapter. Again, this all exists in the D2L community group as well. Walks them through what they do, 1, 2, 2. Again, assignable as well. And you also have access to Career American's infographics, just the same images that come on the ebook or textbook. Animations, infographics. So in addition to all of these resources, you also have access to the fundamental stuff, PowerPoint slides, right? Art and image slides. This is all off the instructor website. You have an interactive instructor's guide. If you ever need some help, like, hey, because I was never a big fan of like judiciaries, but I'm covering it. I love campaigns, elections. I love legislature. I love, the federalism aspect. I need some pop in my lectures for that this year. Right? So I would have to go find stuff. With the IIG, it allows you to go say, hey, I'm covering this. What do you have out there for me to look at that can help me kind of get through my class? Some discussion topics, some resources, so I can select by chapter. Let's say chapter, a demo chapter here. So here we go. So you have all kind of stuff like class activities, discussion questions, media resources, practicing citizenship activities, some teaching notes. Like this from the brand new adjunct coming in, not knowing what I'm doing, or just need some kind of extra support. That's there for you as well. And you need it's there. There's a media right there, all downloadable. And YouTube videos. They give you a download, you put it into a PowerPoint, or actually put it into your course as well. With discussion questions. It's not just a thing, it's the follow-up to you to kind of give you an idea of how to use it. Ask questions about that. All right, it's not. That all exists in the instructor's guide. Ebook we saw, inquisitive we saw. The test bank exists, which is called Norton Test Bank. Have you guys ever used that before recently, or is your testing inside D2L shell with the test banks?
I've used the test maker a long time ago.
Got it, cool. One thing we did with Norton Test Maker before, we used to have it where our test maker had to live on your computer, like download it and down here. Your computer had to, one test was here and they download it. With Test Maker, it's cloud-based. So when you log in, your test is saved on your account, no matter where you are in the system. And we did that a lot because we constantly got feedback from instructors about test security. Now, test banks get out there. Once they're out there, people sell them, they're Quizlet and things like that. So we've pushed back a lot on delivering those static test banks into like a Word format or into an LMS file that students can basically take and pick off and off they go. Right? So test maker is more secure. It's access to your login through your Norton account. But again, it can be uploaded into D2L. So you can make your test in Test Maker and then upload it into D2L in the same quiz format that D2L is. So that's something there too. So you have a bunch of quizzes I've done here, right? You test, you test. It's as simple as when it loads up. So I want to do a quiz or a test. Let's do a quiz on chapter 1. Do that. Hit apply. You can add more filters. Let's say I want to do an online quiz. I don't want short answers. I don't want essays as multiple choice. I want all LOs I'm covering. I'll take all the blues as well, all the tags. There we go, and I'll hit apply. I have the choice of 111 questions I can choose from. And make a test is easy as doing this. Click right there. And add this question, add that question, add that question. There you go. Once it's here on this side, you can then edit it. You can edit each question. Let's say you want to add your own question choices or make the question more specific to your lectures. Just click edit question. And everything you can do there is saved here and there. Fully customizable in that aspect. Make your own question from scratch as well. One thing we also did with this is that it's hard to believe, but sometimes there are typos in a test bank. I can't imagine that happening, but sometimes it might be plain wrong or unclear, not wrong, but unclear for a student, right? So with Test Maker, you can say, hey, Gigi, Jared, Vic, this question is kind of just off. I don't get this question. It's weird. You can say, okay, what's that ID number? 12060. Say, we look at it, yep, it kind of doesn't make sense. We'll get it, language cleaned up. We can push that change real time into the test bank so that it's updated automatically, as opposed to with the test bank made upload to D2L, it can do a whole new, either a chapter, reload, and things like that. It makes your life easier, get those weird questions out of there. So it's customizable on our side and edit it. Should we potentially have any misleading questions? It never happens. Yes, sir.
After we like save the test, the language is updated, does it automatically update in our finalized exam?
It would be better. You're allowed. What you do is this: you can take that exam, right? Open it back in the test maker, and it's test maker. It's clear. So just re-import that later. Right. So the same test exists, right, on your side. The language is, let's say, is misspellings in your test in D2L. It's corrected on test maker. What you do is delete that test off D2L. The new test is there and it's uploaded into test maker. Okay. So yeah, it's updated always on this side. That's one of the benefits of this way, because before you have to do it yourself, edit it, or re-upload it. So now it's instant once you. And those that test virtually, you can save it, export it to a LMS file and here D2L. Or anybody doing this face-to-face, testing face-to-face, that works too. You can do a Word file. You can also create different versions, meaning that your question 1 is my question 6. And my question 1 is your question 24. So a student can go back and forth and look at each other's paper. Same test, same content, just different questions so that you can cut down on cheating or potential weirdness out there. You do multiple versions of tests, up to 10 versions of tests, along with the measure keys. So Test Maker exists both in the printed version, printed format to use, and upload it into D2L. That's your PowerPoints. You have image files as well. Again, if you have your own PowerPoint, you can use image right from there. Teaching poli-sci online. A guide if you're still new at teaching it in an online environment. Some best practices there. COVID lecture PowerPoints, Constitution, federalism. A bit of PowerPoint there. Again, all these exist, looks just like this. So when you pull it up into that shell, you get the content that exists in D2L. You have everything broken down by chapter. You'll have a materials area and more instructive area. So it has, documentation as to follow up if, Jared's not here and I'm on a call somewhere to read through the individual links for news quizzes. We're going to do that. You can put that. We have those hidden. Not everybody uses them at one time, so you can put those in the course as well. An ebook link, the test paper link, help notes, and how to copy course with D2L. So it's nuts and bolts for you to utilize, kind of the follow-up training. And of course, the materials are broken down by chapter. You have the ebook, chapter inquisitive, chapter outline, chapter flashcards, simulation, for Americans, etc. So all this is there for you. You may not want to use all this, like I mentioned before. This is a lot to kind of to digest for you, definitely for students. So if for example, I just want the nuts and bolts, maybe the ebook, inquisitive, outline, flashcards, all over it. Just go ahead and hide the users, right? Simple as that. So obviously, the first time you bring that community group into your shells, into your courses, you must make your changes, right? All your changes. But once you make the changes in course 1 and copy it over, those changes copy over 2. So the work's only done one time, right? Or what you can also do is you can select as part of the import from the community group into your course to select only certain information. You can do a selective import. You're gonna bring everything over one time. Say, I just want this, and this. You can do that too, right? So that's the easiest way of doing it, frankly, is if you're going to import something from or copy your course from course to course, you do a select components, because it says import all or select components. If I remember in D2L, remember that terminology. You select components and then go to chapter 1, open it up, the dialog box, and say, bring over ebook, inquisitive, outline, flashcards. Do the rest of them all. That way, just stuff that you need comes over, right? Makes life a little easier. The work is done up front as opposed to having to unselect all the stuff. So if you help with that, let us know. We can help with that. Jared, myself, JP can get together, just kind of make sure your life is good. Yes.
One thing that our D2L tech staff has recommended is if you create your course how you want it, and instead of copying from this semester to next semester, creating a sandbox that's created exactly how you want it, and then just always pulling from that sandbox. Because one of the issues is sometimes when you copy from this semester to next semester, sometimes there are glitches, and then eventually you're not going to have access to that course because eventually they are archived, if that makes sense. So if you go ahead and create your sandbox, you'll always have access to it, and then you can add to your sandbox and then just keep copying your sandbox. Sandboxes are basically just your your storage, your little file. And if you need help with creating that, it's really simple. So I'm happy to help with that.
Can you copy an existing course in Sandbox?
Yes.
I would say the VTAC is pretty helpful. They're pretty awesome. Many years I've been here, VTAC has always been. They're pretty good. They're highly efficient with things. I wish I had that across all my schools, but yeah, VTAC. So yeah, that is the essence of both the 2305 and 2306 resources. One thing we do always give you and for students is how to register for students, right? Get the walk step by step there, as well as a tech support link. If anything comes up for a student, have them call tech support, well, not call, but contact support first. You can always follow up with an email to Gigi or Jared and myself, say, hey, my student's having trouble with this. Or they like Miranda mentioned earlier, they claim to be going through D2L, but the grade's not syncing. 99 times out of 100, they're not going through D2L. But you never know, it might be just a weird thing in a setup. It might be that our server went down that second, things like that. We never know. So let us know, it's kind of weird. Always have students go tech support first to track documentation. Let me stop. Any questions?
I have some questions.
We have online questions.
Online questions.
Hi.
Hey.
I've used Inquisitive integrated into Blackboard before. This will be my first time using Inquisitive or all of your, just all of the resources integrated into D2L. And I had a couple of questions. You're talking about the ebook and how you can go in there and highlight and put in notes and stuff like that. Now, when we do that, do we need to use the course specific link in our D2L shells to make those highlights and notes?
Yes, because the link in D2L is what gives students access to all your information. That's kind of
Right.
like the main focal point. So you make your
Right.
notes in that ebook.
In that link?
D2L, and that.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. And we need to do that for each one, because I've got two sections.
One section. You do it one time, and the students that your ebook attached to your account. So when you
Okay.
connect your courses on like you first sign into the links very first day, make a student set, right? That creates part. Your notes are pushed out to the students' ebooks automatically. So you do the notes one time, and it's linked to all your accounts, all your sections.
Okay, great. And then as far as Inquisitive is concerned, or like when we're actually assigning the due dates, we need to assign those due dates in Inquisitive, correct? Through the link in D2L, correct? When we see our instructor side of it, and
Yes.
we can assign the due dates in there. And then we also have to do that. Do we also have to do that for on the D2L side as well for those assignments?
Because the D2L side will show that student calendar, right? So when a student has their login, they see what's coming up due on their certain days, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the calendar feature of D2L doesn't speak to the
Right.
Inquisitive due date, right?
Right.
So if you want those calendar links to show on the D2L side, you must then enter the date in D2L as well to ping
Okay.
functionality.
Okay, great. And then there's, so I'll be using, obviously, I'll be using some of these features, and then there are other ones that I might not be using, but those are still in the ebook, correct? So they, as they're going through, they can still do those if they want to.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, all right.
Link, like if you put whatever you have linked in your D2L course, even not assigned, then it's there to access to it because they have that code, so they get the whole shooting match.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. I remember previously, I could go into my class set and do some different things in there outside of Blackboard. Is that the same with D2L or is it different?
What you're doing? Help me understand what you're doing.
So let's see if I can share my screen.
Sure.
I'm not sure. Okay. Oh, it's disabled right now.
All right. Can we do functionality of sharing? No. Okay, try now.
Okay. So, let's see. Okay, can you see this? I'm just in, let's see.
Yep. I see.
Okay. You see my, I'll pull
D2L,
this
right.
down. Can you see I'll pull this down. Can you see that?
Not yet. I see your screen right now. I see just your desktop.
Okay. Can you see that?
I see the template. Correct.
Okay, great. Okay. And so for instance, this is here I'm just in my Norton account, right? This is outside, when I click on the ebook and stuff, I can see all of this here. It's obviously just going into my account. It's not linked to my LMS or anything like that. That's correct. So this is all the stuff that I have available to me. But when I go into D2L, so this is the course template, but let me get to, I've actually built some stuff already in here. I worked with Jared last week. And so we were able to get some stuff. This is the one that I'm doing on my own. I didn't course copy or anything this time because I kind of wanted to do this like a little bit repetitively so I can
Love it.
make sure I figure things out. But when I go in here into, let's just say content, I'll go into this chapter 1 inquisitive. I have to, in order to see these, in order to see like the course progress and all of that stuff and do course reports, I just go into these individual ones, correct?
Correct.
Okay, I don't know
Well,
why
you-
this is wanting me to create a new set here.
That's my question too, is that, did you make a student set before?
Yeah, I've got 2
Oh.
student sets, so I don't know why it's wanting me to do that.
Interesting.
Maybe that's
So-
something after you work with them, we can figure out.
Yeah, we gotta look on that, because that's not normal behavior.
Okay,
I was curious, but yeah, so the grade will go into the grade book, but that metric side will be in the inquisitive side, all the
Okay.
data part of it. Mhm.
right, okay, that's great. All
But no,
right.
you don't want to utilize that digital landing page. You want to use
Right.
use just the links in D2L.
Okay, perfect.
Cool,
Excellent. And I don't know if anybody else there is wanting, needs you or anything, but I can wait, and so we can kind of figure that stuff out.
Yeah, we do that definitely. I think
Okay,
we could, in a little bit.
okay,
Thank you.
okay, great.
Walk through how to take the zip drive from the community group and put it into a sandbox.
Sure. I think. Let's see, let's test these waters here. All right. So what I'm doing here is I'm in the We the People master course shell.
Okay.
I'm clicking download. D2L export right there to my downloads.
And you can create a sandbox in mine if you want. If you go to VTAC support. And then,
Self-service.
yes, and then it's create sandbox. Just a test sandbox. And then if you could just have it expire in like a week, that'd be great.
Oh my goodness. I can type it in phenomenal.
I think we hit it. I think that there's a specific process, so. Yeah. And then it's gonna be. That's not it. Import components. And, yeah. Upload the zip drive.
Amy. Hey, Amy,
Yes,
when you made your first student set, did you use a single link to Inquisitive, or did you do the ebook link, or what did you do? An ebook chapter link? Do you remember?
I'm not sure. I did that with Jared, and then so I think everything's okay for that one. I can go in and look real quick.
Did you do 2 student sets? You have 2 courses or 1 course?
I have 2 courses.
You did sign in for both courses.
Pardon?
You had a student set for both courses.
Yes, and so I created the student set for my second course last night.
Okay.
But I can look here and let's just see if this is. I'm looking at my.
Could you share it for me too? Share your screen with me as well.
Oh yeah, yes.
I'm multitasking. I just saw something and brought up my thing with you.
Can you see that?
I can. So go to your upper right-hand side email address.
Mhm.
Click on.
So this is for the first class this is for my first class that
That's okay.
I did. Mhm.
Go to manage student sets.
Where?
Fifth one down right there.
Yes.
All right, cool. So here's what happens. The one
Oh, this
you
one
did,
doesn't have the
2, 2, 3,
LMS
yeah,
next
it
to
was
it.
it was done through the DLP and not through D2L.
Okay. Okay. So how do I change that? Do I just go back in and?
Just go back and make that student set that we just did, or the one that is for that 5045 course. The
Mhm.
one that we were in, just make the student set on that one.
Okay.
So close
So-
out and go back to that course.
All right. I think I had a bunch of windows open last night.
Yeah, it happens too. D2L gets confused as well.
All right. Okay. And then
Content and click any inquisitive link.
okay.
Still importing here in this package, so it's a process. It looks like.
Okay. And then I'll just go in. I don't know. Go
Perfect.
here. American political culture. Oh no, that's news quizzes.
There we go.
Go into. Why is it pulling that up?
Yeah, I don't know. Let's go down. Go to chapter 1, or any chapter actually. Just click a chapter. No, left-hand
Okay,
side.
I'm not going to be using that.
It's okay. Just click right there.
Okay, there we go.
Now click
I got it.
inquisitive.
I'm back. Okay, and then I can go into any link.
No,
I can go-
inquisitive. Go down to inquisitive. Right
Okay,
there, and do the student set creation.
okay, and I think I can copy it from that. I can use that.
There we go. Do that. Perfect. There we go. All right. Finish importing. And there we go. Just like this.
And just hit next.
Correct. Next. And there we go.
Okay. And then, yay. Okay, I'm going to change the name a little bit. So. Okay.
State and school. Yeah, pick Texas.
I'll just put today, and then I'll just put, I don't know, let's see, 31st. And then create set. Okay.
There you go. And you're good to go. Now check
that-
your email address, right-hand side again, upper right-hand side, email address. Manage student sets. You should have 2 now, LMS. There we go.
All right, and then I can delete that other one that I created by mistake, I guess.
Either you can or we can. Yeah, let's let us know.
Okay, great. And then that'll be everything that they need, as far as like ebook, all like whatever I need within that shell. It'll take me to whatever I need.
That's correct.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay, great.
Good job. Good work with this.
Thank you. Thanks.
There we go. Cool. Importing. Doing his thing. Doing his thing. Yes, it's that time. Yeah, it is. I'm always in the time. There you go. It takes a little bit for it to do. But it came in, finished in there right there, but it's in our test sandbox right there. Came in nice and clean. Love to see it. Love to see it.
Amy, are you good? Do you have any other questions?
Yeah, I might have some D2L questions
Okay. Not
if
for
that
yet.
person is there. Huh?
Oh, okay. Vic, I think she has a couple more questions.
Oh, no, I think I'm good for now as far as, Norton stuff. But, maybe the D2L stuff, I might have some questions outside of Norton, but just D2L. If I don't know if y'all have got a D2L person there or not.
I can help you
Or
with
maybe
it.
you can help me. Okay, maybe do you want to do that after this session is over, or how would you like to do it?
If that's okay.
Okay, yeah, I'm working through that. I don't know if you want to record this part of it or not.
Okay. Well, hold on. Let me make sure that everybody else is good. And
Yes.
then, I'll send you an email with a new link.
Okay, great. Okay, but I'll stay